Hey y'all. So today we are picking back up with I Am Never Alone in our 31 days. We'll just stop calling it 31 days. In our 31 I Am statements. And just reviewing and picking up from where we left off last week. Alone is having no one else present. And we talked about how the enemy, of course, loves to make us feel alone and secluded and just forgotten. And the truth is, we're not. And so last week we read in 1 Kings about Elijah, and we're going to finish that account today. So let's go back to 1 Kings 18. Remember, this is the account of Elijah on Mount Carmel and the miraculous, incredible display where God proved that he is the one true God. So that was the showdown, right? You had the 450 prophets of Baal and then the one prophet of God, Elijah. And the setup for that was, of course, that Jezebel, who was a heathen queen, a Gentile queen, did not have any covenant or relationship with Jehovah, and Ahab brought her in to be queen, and she slew all of the other prophets of God. So that's why Elijah was the only one left. And so in her fury after the showdown where the Lord proved that he was God, she says to Elijah, this is chapter 1 Kings 19 verse 2. Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah saying, "So let the gods do to me and more also, if I make not your life as the life of one of them by this time tomorrow." And Elijah fled. And he finds himself, verse 9 says, there he came to a cave and lodged in it. So we have Elijah, who has just experienced this incredible display of God's power and his ability, and him revealing that he is the one true God, coming through for Elijah. You know, Elijah set up the sacrifice, and then his prayer was in 1 Kings 18 verse 36. It says, "At the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, Elijah the prophet came near and said, O Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that these people may know that you, the Lord, are God, and have turned their hearts back to you." And then the fire of the Lord fell. So, Elijah simply just asked the Lord to be who he is, and he did. And then at the threat of death, he runs in fear, almost, forgetting and what just happened and feeling alone. It says that he ran to a cave, and the word of the Lord came to him and said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Even in that cave, he still wasn't alone. He still wasn't alone. And then we have a story of David, right? So we had two accounts, two men, one prophet, one called a man after God's own heart, found themselves hiding in caves while on the run for their lives. That was the account of Elijah in 1 Kings. And David's story is very similar, and it's in 1 Samuel 22. This is after David kills Goliath, and Saul hates David. Saul was disobedient to the Lord in something that he was supposed to do. And so when Saul chose to disobey the Lord then said, "I'll choose another king." So David was anointed, but there's so much time that passes between David being anointed and actually becoming king. So Saul, it's not like God removed him immediately. But after David killed Goliath, the song was, Saul has killed Saul has killed his thousands, but David his 10,000s. And so the people kind of fed into all of that fiasco. And so Saul now is after David to kill David. Man, it's 5 minutes already. We will pick up here tomorrow and finish David's story. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.